Okay.
Text Teresa.
Okay, I texted Teresa. Oh my gosh, that was chaos.
No, I totally get it. This is how my whole life has been this whole week.
Seriously. Hey, Teresa.
Yay, we're all here.
Okay, we got it working. Oh my gosh. So, now we're good. Good to start recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're recording. Okay, we're recording. Okay.
Let's see. So we were talking about what we liked that like followed the reading from the
Right. Okay. And how we pointed out how the therapist was able to remain calm and to guide the conversation in a way that he was able to help the family identify ways to strengthen family functioning and deal with the adversity that was happening around them.
And are we supposed to go over or agree about what we like? I guess we're supposed to go over the chapter 6 and just mark off to see what the therapist went over in the meeting, and then agree about what maybe if we missed anything between us or.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah. Kind of made a little outline of what I thought he went over, and my first thing was, making meaning of adversity. So, and I can do the notes, and I can, because I'm like, it kind of makes.
I'm awful.
Yeah, because you can't do the notes, Teresa, because you're.
I'm awful at notes.
That's okay. Well, and I'm glad you're here too. And I actually love taking notes, so I'm like fine to do that.
I just really quick though, I don't know, Sarah, I don't know if it's maybe your mic or something, but you kind of not cut out, but like lower the hearing goes low when you talk sometimes.
Let me try my headphones again. Okay, is that better?
So far, yes.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, thanks for saying something. Okay, so I kind of went over the possible risk factors. Like, I felt like at some points the dad was kind of taking sides with the son, and that kind of was like the wife and the father. That seemed like kind of a risk factor between them to, I don't know, maybe kind of like go against the mother's wishes. I kind of feel like he was siding with the son. But I also oh, sorry, go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I agree. It did seem like, because the dad had mentioned that, that he feels the mom's a little too hard sometimes on him.
Yeah.
On the son.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember how the therapist handled that. I wish I would have wrote it down, but I felt like he just guided the conversation like, oh, so you're saying this, so you're feeling this way, what you're saying is this. And he was kind of like doing that check for understanding to.
Yeah, then I don't know. I think right after that he kind of switched them, so he went back and forth with mom and dad. So I think he tried to figure out the issue there.
Yeah, that was how he kept having them like play musical chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. That was very interesting.
But it makes sense though, like you can talk to someone and see people. And it feels different, like talking to someone when you're sitting right next to them than like over someone. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of like symbolic almost of just like, let's bring you back together. Let's have this connectedness again, kind of this like mutual support, teamwork. Like I felt like he was definitely encouraging teamwork, helping them to be committed to each other, especially at the end, but we can get to that. I definitely feel like he had a positive outlet. Like the whole time the therapist was like, I don't know how he did it. He just had this confidence that they were going to overcome these challenges that they were facing without saying it. But he just had that as he guided the conversation.
And like kept them on track, I think, because sometimes when we argue, it's like we end up arguing about one thing and then it's like something totally different and then we don't know what we're arguing about anymore. But it's like he was just like, no, this is the problem right here and we're gonna address this problem. And then he like just guided them like step by step of like through the, oh, there's this little issue here, let's figure this out. And then, oh, this one over here. And then until they were able to get like just go along this little path of like to solve their problems. So it was interesting.
Yes, he like took this initiative to like this like can-do spirit, like they said in chapter 6, to persevere and to kind of accept what can't be changed. So I'm trying to remember the example here, what couldn't be changed. Like I think he brought up maybe making different friends, but what couldn't be changed is the fact that, you know, he's 18 years old, he's an adult, so they can't really control him. But they could also implement like maybe some more rules, like because the son justified his behavior by saying, well, dad's never home, so like why do I need to be home? And he expressed, you know, like I feel like you hate me, or however he said it in so many words. But yeah, they just had to accept like what couldn't be changed there, and that was the fact that he's 18 and you can't really control that behavior.
So I felt that, yeah, he was doing that family organization. Well, at first too, because I don't know if you guys remember too, he also asked, I would say maybe it's a little bit of family mapping too, if there was any other kids or other families, other, you know, family members that weren't there, and mom said no, just them. But yeah, I was thinking, yeah, he was doing the family organization, trying to find out, you know, the adversity and the stressor, and the communication process too. So I was just kind of like thinking when he was talking to them about because it seemed like he was kind of, you know, well, from what he was gathering, he was trying not to insinuate, you know, trying to just go off of what the family members were saying each, but just kind of, you know, like reword it and say, oh, is that what it sounds like you actually, you know, like this is your actual issue? Is that, you know, is this what this is? And he even said at one point, he said, you know, stop me if I'm trying to, you know, if I'm putting words in your mouth, you know, because he didn't want to be wrong. But so I feel like he was doing, you know, really good with the communication process. But I was like, I hope he doesn't insinuate things that, you know, that kind of throws them off, and they're like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and every time he was like, it was kind of, to me, it was like an annoying thing. But he would always say, let me see if I'm catching what you're saying, or something. Like he'd say it like that, and I'm like, that's a good way to say, like, let's check for understanding. But he was always like, is this what I'm catching, or is this what I'm like? He kind of did it in a cheesy way, but he did a really good job of now just that checking for understanding. That like, yes, he did.
I think that's something that kept him on track too, is that like it was like, this is how so and so's feeling. It's not that I assume that so and so's feeling this, and so I this, and you know, you get all these complicated feelings when you start assuming things, or you start trying to mind read and stuff, and like think what everyone else is feeling or thinking.
Yeah. And I loved how even the sister, she was like, Mom and Dad, you're just like kind of beating around the bush. You know where he's at night. Like, you know, he's out partying, and they're just kind of like not saying it. And so that kind of helped. That was probably where a lot of the heat maybe was coming from too, was like, Mom and Dad, you're in denial. Like, wake up. And like, obviously, even the therapist, I'm sure he knew, like, we know what you're doing. You're out till 2 a.m. But he never once said that. He was just like, oh, so do you understand why they're worried? Do you understand that they think that this is what you're doing? Is this what you're doing? Because this is how they feel. And he's like, he even said like, and you will probably lie. You will probably lie about this. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. And I was kind of like, I wonder if this was real life, you know, like, was he telling the truth there? But, you know, obviously it was just kind of a simulation. But yeah, he addressed that like, this is what we think you're doing because you were out till, you know, 1 or 2 a.m. And there's that, just, you're creating this picture, this is what you're doing. And he had to clarify it with the son.
Would you notice how he said, Jimmy, the son, said, no, I'm not doing that stuff. You know, I'm not drinking, doing drugs. And he was like, oh, really? Oh, you know, like.
Very, very shocking, because he even said, like, oh, that part of town. And he was joking. He's like, oh, that part of town. Or like, even the mom or the dad or whoever was like, it's just a sketchy place with sketchy people. And but you know, you got to check. You got to double check. And even if he's not, to be honest, that was Jimmy's choice. Whether or not he told the truth there, I have no idea. But and then at one point he brought up, the therapist brought up that spirituality where in chapter 6 it talks about the larger values, like the spirituality where like mom and dad, you for sure have help like on the other side or something. Like he said something like along those lines.
It was kind of brief though. He didn't really go into it much. He just said, what did he say? I kind of put it down to on my notes that, and he said, where did I put it at? That mom and dad are like receiving help, right, from the other side. I put that too, but it was just briefly. He didn't really go into it.
Yeah, very, very brief. But the fact that he brought it up, I think it kind of gave a little, because I'm wondering if maybe the therapist knew in the situation the son's not open to spirituality. Like he might not be open because of whatever choices he's making. This is my own observation or my own perception. But just to bring back that belief system that his family might have, because I think that's kind of where we have this dissonance with our families is mom and dad believe this, but I don't. And so anyways, I just know chapter 6, it covers that spirituality part. It talked about connection with nature. Well, therapist didn't go over that, but like faith, yeah, that's kind of a belief that they had. So let's see, on the
I wish he kind of did ask them, because I'm pretty much at the end of it, but I didn't hear of him much more, including any, like a little bit more about the religious background. I thought he was going to be doing that too, or like asking about outside resources. I don't know. He didn't really ask much about that either, did he? Well, he did with his friends. He said that they talked about Jimmy's friends, but.
And he did and he did briefly, I feel like he did towards the end, I'm trying to remember, he kind of did the family mapping again with like, did he ask about anyone in the community? Like, didn't he ask towards the end about other family members, like grandparents? I don't remember. Because I know I read about it not in the scriptures, oh my gosh, in the chapter. In the chapter, it talked about family mapping and identifying those relationships outside of the family. And they talked about the friends, but I couldn't remember if they talked about aunts or uncles.
I remember, all I really remember is that he talked about the friends, and then he said, do your friends have the same problem? Are their parents texting and calling them and worried about where they are? And then just kind of like, that's the only time I really heard of other people. So I remember.
I'm like at 6 minutes till it finishes. I still haven't finished it, but I will afterwards. But that's the only thing I've heard so far was his friends, and then you just ask about if there's any other family relatives, or family members that aren't there or whatever. So I was like, he didn't go much into mapping, or outside research as far as I know.
Which is interesting because it covered that in chapter 6 where it talks about the importance of having those relationships kind of mapped out to kind of build up the family from outside sources. So I was kind of surprised he didn't go over that more. But I don't know. I've never done a therapy session, so I don't know what's normal. So let's see.
I was kind of thinking the collaborative problem solving. We talked about this a little bit, but it kind of felt like from the beginning there was just kind of this rift, and it was like the mom and daughter were together and the dad and the son are together. And if you notice too, it was the son, the dad, the daughter, and the mom, like sitting all on the couch that way.
Yeah.
And like you didn't feel like that unity from the parents, and the family didn't. It was just kind of like, I'm with mom or I'm with dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was like, but then he decided he was like, you guys need to start talking to this family. And then when he like switched them around, like you were saying, like that was symbolic. Like he was like, but at the same time too, like the mom and dad were like, oh, let's go on a date. Let's go spend time together. When they all of a sudden they were sitting right by each other. And then he's like, the kids, he's like, oh, why don't you guys go try to spend time with one another? And so it was just interesting that he you could see like the rift there.
Yes, it was very visual. And I think that's the thing, we have to pay attention to that body language. And yes, I love how you brought that up, Mikkel, because I'm trying to find that in my notes where it talks about the connectedness, and they're kind of coming to that collaborative problem solving where they're trying to brainstorm like, well, what can we do to bring back this family cohesion and connectedness? So, you know, he thought like, oh, so mom and dad, like you sit over here together. Okay, what if you go on a date? What if you do this? And then they said, yeah, we'll go on a date. But then he followed through. The therapist says when, or the mom says when, or like they had to set this like specific goal of when, so that when they come back the next time, it's almost more quicker paced recovery. And he even does it with the siblings. Like, okay, like, he says to them, I don't even remember, like Jimmy and sister, okay, like, can you guys go out and get a soda or whatever, have a specific time? And because that again just kind of helps bring back that connectedness. They're trying to problem solve together and focus on those goals and just kind of negotiation. And I loved how the therapist said, what did he say? He's like, I don't believe I'm going to solve your problems. Like, or that's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to remember. I wish I wrote it down. He's like, I'm not going to be the one. That's going to be you. Your family knows each other the best. You know yourselves best. And you are going to be the ones that are going to work this and solve this problem.
Yeah, I remember something like that too. Yeah, it's not me. It's all you guys or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I felt he went over the communication and problem solving process as well. Especially I like the fact that when he was going back and forth with dad and son, how they felt, you know, their feelings going over their feelings, and he tells the dad, okay, you know, turn over to your son. Can you turn over to your son and explain why you're worried? You know, and so he does that right there and then, which I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
He does the emotional sharing as well and positive interaction, I feel, because I think that was positive interaction when he has them, you know, turn around and talk to each other.
Right, exactly. Again, he was like clarifying. He had to clarify to like find the truth. Like, what is really happening here? I'm not going to assume, because, you know, you and dad are sitting together and mom and sister are sitting together. I'm not going to assume what's going on. I need you to tell me. I need you to say those words. So yeah, I like that. The truth seeking part.
Yeah, yep. He repeats and asks about their emotions constantly. Oh, so you're saying this and you're saying this, and you know, he's not, in that sense, he wasn't putting words in their mouth, but
yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So I think too, like with like clarifying, I think sometimes too we don't fully understand what we're feeling about things, or we're like what we're thinking and stuff. And so to have someone talk it through with that and say, so what you're saying from this, is this what you're feeling? And you're like, oh yeah, that is. And it's just interesting that like they were able to understand actually what they were feeling and what actually was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I've read in the past in my classes is that we don't communicate properly with each other, and we're constantly assuming, as you can see, that he was like, you know, when he was going back and forth, I think with mom and son. And she was saying, well, this is how I thought, you know, I felt, you know, when you would leave. And he was like the opposite, you know, I felt this way. And so, and they weren't obviously talking to each other. Like she said, I would just yell at him most of the time. So obviously, and then going back a little further, he goes into he asked the dad, relationships with or problem solving with his parents. And they're like, no, yeah, they weren't really much of talkers, you know, type of thing. And so like, oh, okay, I see. So this is new to you. He says that to the dad, and the dad's like, yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of, I think, really, you know, not so good patterns being passed down, you know, at times. And so we don't really, in other words, not really communication patterns. And so when we don't have that, you continue that, and that's obviously what they had. They were just assuming about each other's feelings and weren't communicating them properly to each other. So
Yes.
the fact that they were, and then they were doing it in a nice way there, obviously, like you were saying, that sometimes we just need that extra person to guide us through, about our communication process. So
Exactly. Kind of like that mediator. Because I don't know,
yeah,
I would like to think that we could do this in our own families, but if we don't have the tools, if we don't have the resources, like if I never took this class or my other classes, I would have no idea. Like I'm a newlywed and I am so grateful for this class because so many times when I get heated and angry, I have this thought and it's a spirit that's like, well, obviously I like have to say this prayer and then it's like, which comes back to our beliefs. Because I'm tempted to say like blame him, to do that other blame, like I'm blaming you for this, which I'd like to think I wouldn't do that, but
be biased.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but just I don't know, I've just come to realize just how strong our beliefs and what we're taught that just affects us so much. These like two things is like this knowledge and just that understanding of the gospel and just bringing them together to kind of help heal one another. And so I'm like, man, everyone needs to take this class. Like stress and coping. Wow.
Yeah.
But
Good one.
anyways, yeah, I think the family didn't realize Jimmy felt hurt.
I also feel that he was addressing the family challenges over time by having them, commit to a family meeting, like a family home meeting or family meeting date nights or whatever. He was saying, telling them to get, to go out with each other and stuff like that. And he was also saying about making plans about how to, I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to remember making plans with each other. Aside from that, just, talking to each other and stuff like that.
Right. And especially with, okay, yeah, and like what you just said, it comes back to, the problem solving and the brainstorming, or doing the brainstorming, negotiating, like, okay, what day are we going to go out, like Thursday or Friday? Because this is huge. Date night is such, like, I think an effective tool in a couple's relationship to do a lot of talking and healing. And I have been counseled many times, like, do not give up your date night for anything. Like, you protect that like it is sacred every week. And I have not been doing that. And this has been like opening my eyes to like little things will become very big over time if I do not address them now. And so, yes, I am learning from watching this family because I could see that maybe the husband and wife, there might be something there previously, maybe. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm like, just you gotta work that out. Constant prayer.
Well, I think.
Oh, go for it, Teresa.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, I think it is that usually, and I see this pattern too sometimes, is that when you're saying that they weren't really, it looks like it too when they, when they were sitting down at first, that they're not completely connected and stuff. So, like, father was more towards the son side, and daughter was more towards the mom side, because the daughter seemed like she was like kind of mothering, trying to about trying to be like the mother type with her brother. But where was I going with this? So so the pattern is that there's like a slightly separation where there's team picking, where this is our team and this is your team. But so normally when that happens, it's most likely because the parents aren't communicating properly with each other, don't agree upon something. I see this I've seen this in my family too. So I think that they really have to be on track with each other as far as the parents goes, so that it's not difficult with them with the children, because I saw that in my aunt and uncle's marriage, and they even actually had to do one of the assignments. I'm not sure if it was for this assignment. No, it was another class assignment where I had to interview them, and that's when I noticed that they started getting separated from each other. She said that at first they were good up in their marriage because they were married for 30 years. And then when they started getting older, I guess like in the teenager or preteens, whatever, and they weren't agreeing with each other and stuff like that. So that's what I noticed in that family, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's when they kind of sort of started separating, and it's not. I felt bad, and I tried, but they had some hard issues to work out. I've tried to get them to go to therapy, but they're thick-headed people and stubborn people.
Yes, yes, I know multiple families similar because teenagers, I just didn't see this because I was a teenager. I was a black sheep in my family, so half the time I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my gosh, mom and dad, I'm so sorry. But like they were together. Like when I watched them, when I saw my parents, I had this example. I didn't see two separate parents. There were times where it's like, oh, mom says yes, dad says no. Most of the time it was like mom and dad are one.
Good.
And my sister-in-law gave me this advice that wherever you go, you and your husband are like this. So for example, if you're in a situation and you are uncomfortable for whatever reason, if you get up, your husband needs to understand it's time to go and you go together. Otherwise, people will see this separateness and it will create this rift, whatever that analogy is, the wedge in the tree that split the tree eventually. That story, I don't remember who told it, what prophet told it, but those little things will cause that wedge. So I'm like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, I need to work on this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, because I think therapy is such a good tool. But I also feel like in the gospel we have these other tools that we can use before we get to that point. However, half the time we don't understand how to communicate to each other. Like even though I'm like I wasn't always active, so I'm coming back to the church. But I still like, even though I'm coming back to the church, I'm like, I don't know how to communicate. I didn't learn this in the church. Like this is a skill.
Well,
that you can develop.
It's little steps, like they say, line upon line, precept upon precept. Imagine if you were just thrown in, given everything thrown at you all at once, you'd be like, it's kind of like when they give us, you're being called to a call and you're like, you think you can't handle it. It's like, no, I don't want it. Are you kidding me? Me? Are you sure?
Yes. But Heavenly Father knows what he's doing. I'm realizing I forgot to look at the points. And I don't even know if I sent you the points, Mikkel, to go over because there were points. So the findings, I noticed that the findings in our group, we had this similar trend of seeing that separateness in the family. That was a pattern that we all saw. We saw that there was this misunderstanding. We're just supposed to identify points that we caught and then points that others didn't catch. So is there anything you guys feel like we haven't really gone over? Because I feel like we've all had pretty similar observations on the family.
One thing I was just thinking of is with Jimmy, he was like, when they first got there, they're like, why are we here? And everyone's kind of like, and they won't say anything. And then they all kind of were like, oh, it's Jimmy. And then it's just like they find like the one person to scapegoat all the problems on. But then it's like the more you talk, it was like, wait, there's this problem and there's this problem. So it's not actually Jimmy. It was like, I thought that process was interesting of just like addressing actually what the problems are and not just blaming one person or one person is the problem kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone saw it as Jimmy and Jimmy was like,
yeah,
I don't know why we're here.
Yeah.
But the therapist, he kind of just saw through that.
He did, and he never once was like, Jimmy, we're here because of you.
Right. I like that too. I like how he attacks every individual. Why do you think we're here? Or why are we here? Why do you think we're here? He asks each member that, what brings them in, what brings you in,
Mm-hmm.
like individually, but at the same time, he comes together and makes it a family affair.
A family decision. We are here together.
It would have been interesting if, like, the end, he like kind of asks him again, like, why do you think we're here? After they had discussed everything, and so
what brings them in? I know. I was thinking it should be. Well, I think that's a good question, but I don't know. I was surprised too that they weren't like, oh, it's Jimmy, because of him. Look at him, I like the fact they were calm. I'm sure that this doesn't always happen in these therapy, meetings. I'm sure there's some yelling, because that's what and I was just asking simple questions like, how long you been married? And my aunt was like trying to write stuff down, trying to tell me to ask my uncle when I was interviewing, just both of them. And I wasn't interviewing the kids, just my aunt and uncle. And they were just going back and forth and yelling. And I was like, I was being quiet, trying to, okay, hold on, wait, let's just go on to the next question. But,
sorry.
I wanted to do more, but like I said, they're just really thick and stubborn that even if I tried, there's no way, because my uncle at 1.2 was like, oh, you're just on her side. And I was like, no, I'm not. I don't like to pick sides or choose sides either. I'm actually, in the middle. I want to help everybody out. So, and I like how he does it too. And the therapist does it. He's not like, like looking at him like, yeah, it's all you, Yeah. So
it's kind of interesting because like there was a few times like you kind of catch people raising their voices a little bit, and you're like this probably would have, if he wasn't here, this probably would have turned into a fight if he wasn't able to like no, we're not going to fight here, we're going to solve the problem.
Yeah. So.
And he did it in a way where he like didn't even say it that way. Like,
yeah,
I need to go back and watch that video again because he did. He just totally guided it and kept it nice and smooth.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, he used these steps, and he and we kind of get from him that like he was like asking these questions, but like a lot of it he didn't come out and say. A lot of it,
right,
as he was just naturally doing it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it reminds me how Heavenly Father works with us. He's never like, to me, he's not like, Sarah, this is what you did wrong. It's like the slow, gentle persuasion process of like, do you realize this? Or do you see this? Do you see what's wrong with this? He never says, this is what's wrong. He kind of just guides us through life like, I don't know, in this way where it's like question asking almost. I mean, there might be times where it's like, I don't know, where he tells you this but oh, go ahead, Teresa.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just saying, or like little thoughts like, this is not right type of thing, or
Right.
or get your butt up, you got to do this, or
Right.
in a nice way. It's not like,
yeah,
sometimes,
he never. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say sometimes I just feel like when and I feel like he is talking to me, and I'm like, why don't you just slap me over the head and say, Teresa, go this way, I just honestly, I feel like that in my own family, like with me and my son, sometimes I feel like he doesn't listen to me unless I'm yelling at him. And I've even told him that. He's like, well, and then he'll say, don't yell at me. And I was like, well, then that's only when you're listening to me, And so I catch myself doing that with, Heavenly Father, just slap me over the head and tell me.
I know. Yes, sometimes I feel the same where I'm like, Heavenly Father, or just like, Heavenly Father, tell me what to do. Like, I know the therapist kind of said, let's do date night and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, he kind of let them work it out. He kind of let them figure it out. He didn't tell them, now do it Thursday, or you got to do it this Friday. That's when you need to do it. He was like, here's the suggestion. Okay, now work it out kind of thing. Like, it's important to protect our agency. So discuss and record how a treatment professional or paraprofessional might prepare to capitalize on such opportunities to introduce or reinforce the types of resiliency factors from Walsh's article.
What are we doing again?
Okay, so they want to talk about Walsh and how she to reinforce the resiliency factors from Walsh's article. I was trying to pull that up on my computer because I have my notes. I think it's this one. Hi. Oh, do you want to watch a movie? Oh, this one. Okay.
I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to hold off because I'm in my car because I
Oh,
forgot that my internet's not working, so I'm waiting for them to come fix it on Monday. And I was like, here I am again trying to struggle to get on a Zoom meeting. So I'm in my car using my brother's internet because I didn't want to go,
you
but
okay.
because he's got little ones and I know they won't let me do the Zoom meetings. So
Okay. So let's do this really quick. Shoot, I have those. Okay. Let me pull
my
that
battery's
up.
going
Is it
down.
gonna die? Okay.
So far I've still got a little bit, so
Okay.
maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes maybe.
Okay. Hang on really quick. Okay. Any other observations that were surprising to anyone? Anything?
How did it end? The last 6 minutes or so.
So I just remember him asking them to do the date night challenge and to kind of just say, I'm not going to be the one to solve your problems. I absolutely believe you guys will be the one to solve this issue.
Did they all agree?
Yeah, I think. I mean, they weren't like, yes, this, we will do this, but it was kind of this like mutual understanding.
Okay.
Seemed like too, they just he's like you want to work through these, like you guys want to work through these problems, and like will you take the steps necessary, like that's not specifically what he said, but like generally is what I got. And then he was kind of like, hey, like do these things and then you'll report back to me next time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, and I don't know if are we supposed to like use like the adjustment phase and the resiliency model here, like, because that's what we went over this week with chapter 8 was like you have your stressor. So in my mind, the stressor right now is Jimmy staying out late at night, and it's worrying his mom. That's stressor, and its cousin, maybe other stressors. Contention. The mom's vulnerable.
Dad working a lot, obviously.
Dad he's not there. Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of another pile up.
And then they're not communicating properly, between mom and dad as well.
Mm-hmm. And then, so they have this established pattern of functioning where Jimmy's out late. He comes home, the mom's worried, she freaks out. So that's the stressor appraisal where it's like her yelling at him, their problem solving is, well, I don't know, they didn't really have a problem solving for a time. It seems like just the yelling and not necessarily consequences in their family resources. They didn't mention what they turned to.
Yeah, not really. Just friends.
Exactly. So it kind of started going in this cycle until maybe one day someone's like, okay, problem solve. Let's try going to therapy. So they go to therapy and then kind of help see their family resources.
Yeah, that'll be a resource, right? Therapy. That is true. That's their outside resource.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think even just each other, like, is a resource. Even though there's problem in the family, if they can learn to work together and learn to work through those things, they can be a resource to each other.
Yes, it says, so in chapter 4, it said, on page 67, it said, we can foster resilience by helping members sustain important functioning in the midst of turmoil. So you need to support each other. And just have consistent rules and roles, patterns of interaction. So they have to change that pattern of interaction. So that's going to help their resiliency is if they have these consistent rules and the roles and patterns.
The communicating sorry.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. The communicating, that's a pattern.
Yeah, the planning and the communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm. Because it says how the family members need to know what to expect from one another. So the mom expects the son to let her know where he's at. So, he's not dead. The police, he's not in jail. They know where he's at. They just have this expectation of, okay, Jimmy, right, we need you to tell us where you're at. This is an expectation that we have in our house. So they didn't go over any family rituals or routines other than the bad ones. Kind of. That's what I saw.
What was that?
So it talks about family rituals, how that helps with resiliency. But
They talked. Did they talk
didn't-
about any?
they didn't. I don't remember them talking
Oh,
about.
I was like, I don't think they did.
Yeah. Let's see. It talks about leadership, teamwork. Good teamwork facilitates resiliency, and they were not doing that, but they're working on it through the therapist.
You had a little bit in there, one with each other, mom and daughter, and
Right. Well, and the fact that they were all there together. Jimmy could have been like, I'm not going. That gave some teamwork. So that shows to me this family is resilient. They're trying. I don't know very many families who go to therapy.
Right. And like I was saying, my uncle. Ugh,
yeah,
stubborn.
I don't. It talks about flexibility for resilience. So how are you doing, Teresa? Do you need to get going?
No, we're good so far.
Okay.
So what was the last one you said? Resilience on what?
Flexible. It talks
Flexible.
about the flexibility.
Yeah, I think that was one that we didn't really go over, right? And
Yeah.
it seems like they are. I mean, they were all willing to share. They were all willing to play musical chairs.
Yes.
They were willing to commit, seemed like they were committing to the meeting with each other afterwards.
Right.
So,
yes. I'm going to be there.
Do you have everything you need for the write-up thing?
I feel like there was something we were supposed to do the last 45 minutes, the last 15 minutes, and I can't.
They said to check the last 15
Oh, so we checked. Okay,
rebriefing with that.
Yeah, so the person who was in charge of composing the summary, so me. Are you able to access the Google Doc? If not right now, I mean, technically we have until Saturday to submit it. But I sent you all the link to the Google Doc, so I can put the summary there. Yeah, I did try
to pull it up. Sorry, I did try to pull it up. I did the first one, first one you had listed, but it said page not found.
Oh, I was wondering if it would do that. I also sent an email, I think, with the Google Doc. If not, I will send another one to.
Well, sorry, the email's the one I pulled up. That's the one that said.
Okay.
Yeah,
do you guys know how to access the lesson 10? So our group 7. Do you know how to access our private discussion board?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
If you do, I can post the Google Doc there, just because, I mean, I could post it on the regular discussion board too.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll post it in our group 7 discussion board, and if you guys need help accessing it, let me know, and I can help you out there. But yeah, I will just throw together the rest of the summary and post that link, so you guys can kind of double check on it, and then and then let's just keep working through this on our private discussion board and through the Google Doc. Okay,
because I think we did the last 10 minutes or so. I've only got about 10 minutes. That we're supposed to be. I think we pretty much already covered it, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You want to briefly just?
I feel like we covered everything and recovered it.
Yeah. So we covered everything. For some reason, the Google Doc is frozen, and I couldn't type on it. So I have it in a separate document. So yeah, I'm just going to copy and paste it over there. And then if you guys want to add and correct and double check on stuff, or if something else comes to your mind, if you want to rewatch it, add it there. And then, so Mikkel, you have the video. Can I send you the summary so you can submit the video and the summary once it's all finished? Okay. So we will do that, and just...
Probably the best way is just text me when you're sending it.
Okay, I will text you when I send it, and then, just let us know when it's submitted. So, because I know last time I submitted one on my end too, and then this time she's like, just send one per group. So, so that way we'll have peace of mind knowing that it's submitted. Okay, well, I think we're good.
I was gonna say that I think I think I had said I was gonna submit it if you guys are just gonna, um, send me the. I think I signed up for that.
Did you
So,
sign to submit? Okay, see, I didn't even double check. Okay, so
Yeah.
Mikkel,
yeah,
Mikkel and I, okay. Mikkel and I will send
so
it.
yeah, I think. Are we supposed to? Yeah, we're supposed to transfer to. I think since who's Mikhail, are you recording, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're just supposed to transfer to YouTube and then send me the link, and then Sarah, if you want to send me the doc, and I'll submit it.
Hey, sounds good. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
then I will text you. I will send it to you. I will email it to you, Teresa.
Gee, Sarah, do you want me to send, or do you want us to send you like any of our notes that might help you to?
Yes, if you have notes, please send them.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be
I'll do
super
that.
helpful.
Which way? Email?
Email. Let's do my Gmail.
Okay. Not the email. Is that the email that you have through?
I think I sent. Did you by chance?
Can I send? Oh wait,
No.
is that the one on the discussion board?
No, I did. I posted my other one. But I guess it
Can you email me this? Or?
Yeah, I will email you again, Teresa, and make sure.
Okay, if not, I'll just email it to you, the email that you sent me.
Okay, we got this. Okay, good. Oh man, I'm so glad that we were able to do this because I know next week.
Me too.
Next week's gonna be so busy. So I was like, I need to get it done this weekend.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, just get it out of the way, Teresa. Why not? Especially since nobody was able to sign up with me, so.
Yeah, I'm so glad you were able to join us, Teresa. I kept feeling, I was like, Teresa needs to be with us, so we need to. I'm super glad you were able to come. So
thank you.
I'm glad that worked out. Okay, well, enjoy your wedding and just have you both just.
Thank you.
Day.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.